John and Julie's Guitar Club.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi, John, Julie, Dustin.
Hi,
Hey, how you
Dustin.
doing, Jake?
Hi, Jane.
Hey.
What's happening?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to check in with Facebook just to kind of do a quick little push.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Hey guys, we're here.
We can get some other people interested and involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can share this link too, John, if you want.
Sure.
This is the. Do you have your iMessage on that computer?
I probably do. I don't know if it's on. Hold on.
Dana's here.
Applications.
Well, there's Dana.
Hi, Dana. Oh, it's not.
So it's messages. There we go.
I'll just send it to your email.
Or you can actually. It's up.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Dana.
Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Ken.
Excellent.
Welcome. What's everybody been doing this month?
Not too much. It's track season in Saratoga, although I haven't been over to the horse track yet. So we've we've about tripled our population in town for the next month or so.
Ah, wow.
Wow.
Very popular destination. So
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize you were in Saratoga Springs.
Yep.
Oh, okay. My son went to college there.
Skidmore.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic! I live just a couple miles from Skidmore,
Oh, wow. Yes.
over in the Beacon Street area.
Beacon Street.
It's the west side, about 2 blocks from Broadway, Arts District.
Okay.
In fact, my
Okay.
landlords run the Arts District. We do the yearly art fair right here on the street. So shut down the street. It's a whole thing.
Oh, fun.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Good to be in an artistic community.
Yeah.
Out with
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
What about you, Jane? You getting some playing in?
Yes. Yep. I've been doing a lot. Yeah, between the guitar and the ukulele, and yeah, I'm actually learning a piece. It's just like a blues thing that somebody wrote, but it's written for the electric ukulele. So,
Ah.
Wow.
in fact, it's like one of those challenges. Julie, you know about these. I do these monthly challenges where you learn a song and then you have a chance of winning this prize. And the prize is this really cool looking electric ukulele.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
So
cool.
anyhow,
Well,
so
good luck
it's,
to you.
Yeah, I think otherwise known as a Stradalele.
I'll see if I can find a picture. But anyhow, it's yeah. So I've been busy.
Or a Les Paul-lele.
Depends on your preference, right, John?
Exactly.
A telelele.
A Telelele, exactly.
There you go.
That's what Dana would get.
Yeah, that's right up Dana's alley because he's always playing blackguard. So
That's right.
So, okay. So I had a couple of things I wanted to throw at everybody. So over the years, every so often I'll kind of pick away at writing a new warm up exercise. And I do things like that because I find that when I'm practicing, that it's helpful to begin my practice routine with a warm up of some kind, and the purpose of it is to just give myself some kind of challenge that that allows that kind of encourages me to kind of think for a minute on the instrument, kind of do something that that maybe I don't know how to do extremely well, but but it's not going to take me forever to figure the whole thing out. Okay, so not a project that's like protracted and is going to kill me. So every so often I'll write a new one, and then notate it and post it. So today I have warm up 21. I think we posted it on the juliefinn.com site, and also Julie's going to be sharing the screen right now.
I am.
Okay.
Should I move it? Let
Can
me
you see?
move the screen real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody can see that?
Not yet.
Oh, no, not yet. Okay, hold on.
We could just.
There it is.
Warm up 21.
Okay, so the number is just simply the chronological order that I created them. Okay, and each one of the warm-ups that I've written, each one sort of addresses it's kind of a different challenge. So what this one does, Julie, if you scroll through all of them, you can see that each one is essentially a modal scale. So the first one starts with E Lydian, then E Ionian, then E Mixolydian, and E Dorian. Then on the next page, E Aeolian, E Phrygian, E Locrian, and that's it, right?
That's all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So, so the way that they're oriented is that it starts with Lydian, and then only one note changes from Lydian to get to Ionian, and then one note from Ionian to get to Mixolydian, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I find that this is a good way to think of them. In fact, without getting into the nitty-gritty details of it, my whole method in terms of organizing modes is based on thinking of modes in this order. So
From brightest to darkest.
yes,
John,
exactly.
John, not to interrupt, but does this follow the circle of fifths?
Yes, it does.
Gotcha.
So actually, if you look at the key, if everybody looks at the key changes, the first, the key change for the first one is the key of B, and E is the fourth degree of B. Therefore, it's an E Lydian scale.
Oh, you're thinking of them in parallel then, parallel modes. Got it.
Yes. Okay. Then the next one is E Ionian, which is going to be the key of E. Okay. Then the next one, as you can see, another sharp has been taken away. Now we're in the key of A.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And E is the fifth degree of A, therefore E Mixolydian. Okay. Then the next one's key of D, which is two sharps. So another sharp's been taken away, and now we're in the key of D, playing E Dorian. E is the second degree of the key of D. Okay. Then E Aeolian is the key of G. E is the sixth degree of the key of G, therefore E Aeolian. Okay, next one's E Phrygian. E is the third degree of the key of C, therefore E Phrygian. Okay, and as you can see, up to now, one sharp has been taken away to get to the next key. And then now when we go from E Phrygian to E Locrian, a flat has been added because we've run out of sharps to take away.
Counterclockwise.
Yeah. So it's essentially So it's exactly moving counterclockwise in the circle of fifths. So E Locrian, E is the seventh degree of the key of F. Therefore, key of F is one flat. E Locrian.
Cool. And I
Okay.
noticed there's 3 notes per string, but we're playing 16ths.
Yes.
Tricky.
Yeah, so starting with the E Lydian, okay, so I'll go for a clean sound, I guess. So it'll be
Can I
E
play
Lydian,
two?
Then coming backwards. Then it goes to the next one, and here the A sharp is going to become A natural. So ready?
Hold on.
Okay.
I got something in my eye.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, guys.
No worries.
Okay.
I also, John, I just want to remark, I like the fact that in your warm up here, you change direction at the top.
Yes.
And instead of just going up and down the scale, you reverse
Oh, yeah.
direction at the top.
Yeah, that little
Subtle, but that really helps
yeah.
get the left hand control going.
See, the thing I like, and actually my reasons for doing that is to keep the ascending portion of the scale in one measure, and then the descending portion of the scale in the second measure, and it just kind of makes it feel easier.
I like this too.
Okay?
How it goes
Yeah.
down to the
Interesting.
sixth string and then starts again on the fifth.
Yeah. So. Right. Okay, so that's kind of what it's going to sound like.
Mm.
Okay, so
Play it all together.
let's try each scale one at a time. Okay, since
Yeah.
you're all kind of, I've messed with these a little bit, so it might be a little bit unfair that I've practiced them already. So we'll take each one of them. We'll take a much slower tempo and we'll just play each one and move on to the next one. Okay.
Should I mute?
Yeah.
Julie's going to mute everybody. So for now, just kind of listen to us and play along. And if anybody has any questions, please just jump in. We'll take each scale one scale at a time. So first finger, 7th fret, 5th string.
Are
Okay,
we
so
doing Lydian now?
yeah, we'll start with Lydian. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Do it again. 3, 4, and. Good. Okay, everybody got that? Okay,
I'm gonna
let's
make
move.
this a little bigger. Hold on.
Yeah. The tempo's okay? Okay. Let's try Ionian. This time let's play the scale twice without stopping. So 3, 4, and. Again. Good. Okay. Mixolydian, same thing. We'll go twice through. This time, the note D sharp is going to be lowered to D natural. So this becomes that. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Okay, and if you're, the astute among you will notice that there's 3 D naturals in the E Mixolydian scale, so you had to change 3 notes that time. Okay, E Dorian, G sharp becomes G natural. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Good. Okay, E Aeolian. Okay, here. C sharp becomes C natural. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Good. Phrygian. F sharp becomes F natural. Here's F sharp. Here's F natural. So 3, 4, Good. Okay. E Locrian. So now B natural is going to become B flat. So 3, 4, and. Okay, I would like to do this whole exercise one more time. This time, the way we're going to do it is we'll do it the same way. Maybe we'll move through them a little more quickly. But we'll play each scale twice. The first time, Julie and I will play the scale together all the way through. Then the second time, I'm going to play a chord that goes with it. Okay.
Ooh.
So I'll go over the list of chords if you want. So Julie will be playing the scale the second time. I'll be playing the chord that goes with it, and we'll talk about those chords in a second. Okay. So now we're going back to E Lydian. Okay. Again, twice through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Ionian,
that's
yeah.
so pretty.
3, 4, and. Good. E Mixolydian. So D sharp goes to D natural. 3, 4, and. Okay, and if you're curious about that chord, that's a D chord with E in the bass. So here's an E triad, and then I'm playing an E bass note. Okay? Alright, E Aeolian. Okay,
E Dorian.
Dorian, excuse me. Okay, so for this I'm going to play an E minor 6 chord. Okay, but E Dorian. 2, 3, 4, and. Good. E Aeolian. So now the C sharp becomes C natural. 3, 4, and. Okay, so here I was playing a C chord with E in the bass. Okay? Okay, so now E Phrygian. So for E Phrygian, I'm going to be playing an F chord with
And
E in
the
the
scale
bass.
of the day is
Yeah.
Phrygian.
Phrygian!
Do you
Yeah!
guys
That's
remember
right.
Pee Wee Herman? The word of the day. Anytime the word of the day came, they'd have to go, ah!
That's great. I forgot that.
Saturday mornings. Okay, sorry.
Okay, E Phrygian. 3, 4, and. Okay. E Locrian. This is the last one. So B becomes B flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, so here I was playing an E minor 7 flat 5 chord. Yeah,
That's
or that
fun.
one.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. So, okay, so just to quickly review. So for the E Lydian, I was playing an F sharp triad with an E bass. Then for E Ionian, I was playing an E major chord. And then for E Mixolydian, I was playing a D chord with E in the bass. And then for E Dorian, I was playing an E minor 6. Almost like a spy movie. Okay, and then then for E Aeolian, I'm going to play a C chord with E in the bass. Then E Phrygian, I'm playing an F chord with E in the bass. And then for E Locrian, I'm going to play an E minor 7 flat 5 chord. Okay, so part of what I'm getting at is just the idea that it's good to kind of have a sense of what, like if you're learning a scale, it's good to kind of have an idea of what chords might work with the scale. Now, the chords that I've been playing, they're certainly not the only chords that will work, but there were chords that I chose that to me kind of chordally represent approximately the sound of the mode. You know?
Well, it's much more fun to play scales with a pretty chord
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah, and you see how, like, when I was playing the chords and Julie was playing the, playing the scale over it, it takes, the sound of the scale takes on a completely different meaning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of have that under your in your ears, I think, and under your fingers as well. Any questions or comments before we move on?
Well, one comment, John, I'll go so far as to say that I am guilty as a guitar player of spending a lot of time practicing scales and modes, memorizing the shapes on the fretboard,
Right.
but not practicing them against harmony. And you lose so much by not having a backing track or something like that, focusing on the mechanics over the actual sound of it.
Right.
Well, mechanics are good too. I don't know
They-
if you've lost stuff, but it adds so much more too.
It does. Yeah, well, if not lost, I was missing it during that
Yeah.
that type of practice. So it takes on a new dimension with the harmony, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. So, speaking of that, I want to share with everybody, Dustin sent over
Since
just
we're on to Phrygian.
Yeah. Before we get to Phrygian, ah!
This one was a bear today. I'm just going to tell you. I struggled to get anything together with this, and then
Mom and I were like, "Wow, this sounds great."
Yeah, we didn't.
you already listened to it?
I didn't listen to the whole thing, but the minute or so I listened to it, I was thinking, man, like, well, I mean, I think it kind of speaks for itself. It's super melodic.
Your
You know,
song is so nice too.
Yeah.
I spent half the day struggling to get the melodies down, and then, well, when you guys hear the main melody, as soon as it arrived, I just kind of went, "Oh, that's it. That's what's supposed to be here."
Good.
Right.
And before you jump into it, this is just I was texting a friend about this. It's a little bit of music philosophy, and it's esoteric. Julie, I know you're in a songwriting class, but do you guys ever find that when you when you focus on trying to bring a song into being, it's almost like you can't do it other than the technical aspects, but when you relax into it, it's almost as if you're the antenna and the song arrives and comes from this other place.
I'll pull it from the ether.
Yeah. It's like I read something the other day about the fact that it's almost like you're fishing for the song and you don't want to be downstream of Bob Dylan, if that makes any sense.
Right.
'Cause he's going to catch all the fish.
He's going to catch them all in his net.
Yeah.
His big net.
I don't know. I just didn't know if you guys had
I've
experienced
spent
anything like that.
Many times just sitting here at this exact desk, especially during this process of my master's degree, because every week I had to write. There was one weekend I wrote 5 songs.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow.
So intense, but there were times that I'm like, just put my head down, and I'd be like, release, come to me.
That was my day today. I had to
and then it comes.
walk away from it, and I had to take a few minutes to do something else, and then sit back down and refocus. And that's when it kind of worked.
Good for you.
So
Good
I'm
for
glad
you.
I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one with that
You
experience.
aren't the only one. But
No.
when you come with expectation, you get something.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
you can't say, I need something perfect. You just have to be open to whatever comes in.
There you go.
Yeah.
And John, if you've only listened to the first minute, wait until you hear the last minute.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I think based on your classic rock background, I think you're gonna like this one.
All right. Okay. Let's hear this. 1,
2. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
That's a lot of layers.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
and
It sounds more dense than it is, actually.
really.
Yeah.
Now, see what I really liked about what you did with this is like you got like you have a really nice sense of like pacing and space within your phrases. Like when you're playing, you're not just kind of going "Rah!" and throwing notes at it.
Mhm.
A friend of mine, calls it spraying notes at the progression.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like you're not doing that. Like and as a direct result, it's like everything you're playing sounds like it sounds like it has kind of a place, right?
Mhm.
Melodic.
Yeah, really like super melodic. I think whatever you're doing to achieve that, I think definitely do more of it. It feels like a comfy coat in your playing. I think.
My
I
favorite
appreciate
part is
that. Yeah.
slow bend.
What's that, Julie?
I love that slow bend that you have in there.
Oh, where? Which part?
There's a few places where
You kind of bend over a whole measure.
right.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of what I put into that unintentionally kind of ended up sounding like Deep Purple Machine Head because to me this track just sounded like Highway Star,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And so it really kind of came to life at the end there. The melody gets doubled an octave lower. And in my DAW, I sort of spread them in the stereo mix, and I just set the lower octave off a few cents, and it really kind of brought that thing to life. I don't know.
Great. Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but just being a little bit out of tune really helped that. I mean, you're kind of like adding stuff as you go along. Like forgive me. Let me start again. Unlike the other tracks you've given us, John, this one doesn't really have a verse chorus structure. It's more like 4 rounds of the same progression, right? So the goal was kind of to introduce an idea in the first round, almost like classical music. I don't know if it's a cantata or a rondo or whatever they call it, but with each repetition of the progression, adding more layers or introducing more ideas that eventually fold together at the end, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great.
Cool. Glad you guys liked it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Nice job. Dana, have you got something you want to play?
Want to play over the Aeolian track?
Yeah. Actually, I played over the Aeolian track last time.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You played it on live.
Jane, you want to take a crack at it?
No, thanks, but thanks for
Okay.
asking me.
All right. Okay, so maybe let's see what time we got. Okay, so maybe what we'll do is let's move on to the
Phrygian.
Yay!
Yay!
The Ingve scale, right?
So let's start with the scales. Actually, you know what? Let's look at the chord progression first. If you've got the chord notation. Okay, so the formula for this was very similar to what I did with the other ones. It's essentially, so Phrygian. One of the features is that it's a common way to frame a Phrygian chord progression is to have a minor chord, like let's say F sharp minor, okay, and then follow that up with a major chord a half step higher, and then sometimes a major chord a whole step higher. Okay, so people often comment that has a very Spanish kind of a sound to it. Okay, so the first part, F sharp Phrygian, just goes F sharp minor to G major to F sharp minor to E minor. Okay. Then F sharp minor, G minor, F sharp minor, E minor, same thing again. Okay, so all 3 of those chords come from the key of D major, where F sharp minor would be come from the 3rd degree of a D. F sharp minor would come from the 3rd degree of a D major scale. Okay, 3rd mode is Phrygian, therefore. Okay. Then the next section where it says D Phrygian, the chords are D minor to E flat to D minor to E flat again, then the slightly different rhythm D minor, then F, E flat, D minor. Okay. Then the A Phrygian part is sort of based on. It does the same kind of thing. The difference being is kind of more riff based. Right? So.
Is that like Moody Blues? Or what's that song?
Oh, you mean?
Oh, that's not Phrygian at all.
No, that one's not Phrygian.
Don't fear the Reaper. I was hearing that too, Julie. Definitely.
Yeah, so it's kind of Blue Oyster Cult goes all Phrygian.
Blue Oyster Cult, that's it.
And actually, okay, truth be told, I stole this from a soundtrack in the old school Doom game.
What?
in Doom 2.
Oh, wow.
This chord progression
No kidding.
is one of the levels.
Oh, Jane's got the electric guitar now.
Oh, now we're in business. Jane's on the strap.
It goes. Sorry. Okay, so that's the whole chord progression. So it's F sharp Phrygian,
Right.
D Phrygian, then A Phrygian. Okay.
The scales? Any questions about the chord progression? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So
It's nice to see it in 3 different keys.
yeah.
I love that you do that.
Okay, so in this, so in this worksheet, I'm basically offering 2 different ways to play each scale. There's the 1 octave version, which starts at the 11th fret. Now, where I feel like that's useful is that it's much easier to get a 1 octave scale under your fingers, and it kind of puts the notes in the scale in the range that you'd want to be using for soloing. Okay. Then the 2 octave version.
I love
Okay.
starting with my 3rd finger instead of just going.
Yeah.
It just gives you a different view,
Yeah.
a different way.
Yeah, and what I was trying to do with that is the 2 octave version incorporates the 1 octave version inside of it.
Yeah,
So
I like
these,
that.
yeah, so these are by no means the only ways to play a Phrygian scale. This is a way to play a Phrygian scale. Okay.
So many different options, huh?
Okay, does everybody want to try it?
Anyone want to try it?
Just the scale, I mean. Let's do the 1 octave one first. So,
Should we do it together?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so F sharp Phrygian scale. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. Do it again. Do it again. Okay. Yeah, okay, and then the 2 octave version starting with the 3rd finger at the 14th fret. Okay? 1, so 3, 4, Again. Last time. Good. Okay. And then now moving on to D Phrygian. Here, this is going to be exactly the same fingerings, just moving the whole thing so that your opening note is D. So instead of the 11th fret, you're going to start on the 7th fret. Okay, 3, 4, go.
Are we gonna do?
Oh, sorry.
8 notes.
1 and 2 and 3 and
Okay.
4. Good. Okay, 2 octave version. Again, third finger land starts on D on the 6th string, 10th fret. So 3, 4, go. Again.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Okay. Then finally A Phrygian. Okay, and again, it's going to start with the second fret, 3rd string. Okay, 3 and 4 and. Sorry, my fault. Again. Again. Good. Okay. A Phrygian 2 octaves. So that with this one, the way I have this laid out, there's a couple of 1 fret position shifts. But I feel like those make the scale a little easier to play.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So 3, 4, and go. My fault. Keep playing the E flat. Again. Again. Yeah, so the utility of these is that if you're playing up and down the scale, your ears kind of get familiar with the sound and the tonality of the scale, especially if you're hearing it with the chords. Okay, I think that's kind of important.
I think so too.
So one of the steps you may want to take is put the track on, and then just play the scales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the track essentially does those keys in that order. It starts with F sharp minor, or F sharp Phrygian, then goes to D Phrygian, then goes to A Phrygian. Okay, so let's have a look.
You play it?
Yeah, I got it here.
1, 2, 1, 2,
Yeah, okay, so
1, 2, 1, 2,
So
3.
A F sharp. D Phrygian. questions so far?
That's awesome, John. That I'm shocked how much that sounds like Al Di Meola and John McLaughlin. Paco de Lucia. I mean, it's right up that alley. Is this the only mode where you're going to find those typical progressions having chords that are a half or a whole step apart, as opposed to being a little more spread out over the universal chords?
Yeah, they all will have different types of things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, maybe that's something we can kind of, you know, maybe that's something we can look at for next time, is just general, like how to listen to a chord progression and figure out how to decode it enough so you can improvise over it.
Yeah.
You know, because over the last few weeks we've, talked about quite a few tools for each mode. You know, but then really the question is like, how do you know, like if you're given a chord progression or if you've written a chord progression, how do you know what to play?
Yeah. I know that would be, I can't speak for anyone else, but I know that would be very helpful for me, to just see a chord progression in front of me and think, oh, yeah, Dorian and mixed lineal both work in this one. And just have that right at the tip of my fingertips. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very cool.
Well, in terms of intervals, though, I mean, it's the only minor scale that's going to have a flat 2 and a flat 6, correct?
That's right.
Hmm.
And it's the flat 2.
Well, the Locrian has flat 2 and flat 6, but it's very rare that you see a chord progression with those, right?
It also has a flat 5. So.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right.
The thing about Locrian is that it's a very unstable sound. So it's very hard to convince the ear that that's your home key.
You might use it to color something else.
Because what it wants to do. Yeah. So, okay, so let's have a look at the licks.
Oh, yay.
Right on.
Phrygian licks.
Yeah.
John, I got another quick question.
Go ahead.
So I noticed, you got when you were playing the scales that there was like a turnaround going on, because I assume you're trying to keep the chord tones on the downbeats, right? Is that the case?
Well, I wouldn't say. Well, okay. So the way I wrote the chord.
Got that little kind of turnaround so that you could start again on the root. Is that right or no?
Well, the way I tried to write the chord progressions is that each key would try to sort of complete a thought before moving on to the next one. So that's actually more evident like when you go to D Phrygian, it goes, then it goes D minor, then F, E flat, D minor, right? So that feels like it's kind of completing a phrase.
Yeah, it's bringing it back to the home of the D minor, definitely.
Yeah, where the F sharp Phrygian is just going back and forth between F sharp minor to G to F sharp minor to E minor, then the same 4 chords again. F sharp minor, G, F sharp minor, E minor.
The E minor goes nice into the D minor. Huh?
Right, exactly. So
I guess my question is like, I'd be. It's like is the flat 6 and the flat 2, they're not really good notes to hang on, though, correct? I mean, they're good for like creating tension and then resolving them.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say was that, I tend to think of them as either dissonant or consonant, or another way to describe it is stable versus unstable. Like if I play a C, like play an E minor chord, right? So she plays an E minor chord, and if I play, right, the note doesn't exactly sound bad, right? But if I hit this note, it's basically saying, do something with me, take me someplace else. chord, that F sharp is going to be an unstable note, but right.
I guess
So-
I'm just wondering, do you ever use like, do you ever use like kind of the equivalent of like bebop scales where you add a chromatic note to keep
Sure.
the chord tones on the downbeats?
Well, yeah, sometimes I'll use chromatics as a way of sort of delaying the resolution to a strong note.
Okay.
You know, so meaning like if I'm kind of, you know, if you're playing an E minor chord, right, and I'm playing a melody based on B, right? So I might use chromatics as a way of sort of delaying the resolution. You know, but to be fair, it's not something that I do really super well off the top of my head in the heat of improvisation. What I tend to do is I tend to, you know, if I want to incorporate that more, I tend to just try to, you know, practice doing it at home, and then just try to incorporate what I practice when I get out into the gig. And you know that tends to be kind of a long process.
Mm.
You know, it's a bit like you know, like you learn a new word. Like say you learned the word avuncular, which means in reference to uncles, right? So now that you know the word,
Oh, really?
right? So if you know, if you try to use the word avuncular in a sentence, right? You know, it's like, wow, he told a joke in a very avuncular manner, didn't he? You know, when you first
stand
use the
out.
word, it's going to sound weird just because, you know, it's not the way most people would sort of phrase that sentence. You know, but there are certain situations where the term avuncular is the only word that you should use. So, you know, it's like
Same
I
with
think,
music.
you know, guitar licks are kind of like that in that, you know, it's perfect for the right situation. And some of it is developing vocabulary so that you can kind of pull them out in the right situation, if that makes any sense. But
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah. Well, you know, when I started out playing guitar, I was a typical rock player who just played like pentatonics.
right.
And I kind of refer to those as free scales. And what I mean by free scales is that every note in other words, I couldn't make a mistake with that scale.
Right.
Every note was free.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I decided to run a bunch of notes, it didn't matter which one I landed on, I was going to be okay.
Right.
As you transition into modes,
Right.
that's not the case anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
And
not.
jazz too.
Yeah. And then what starts to happen is that each note kind of has different weight.
Right.
Right.
You know. Okay. So these So let's have a look at the first. You know, the first lick. Julie's going to put it up. So, you know, the first one's called Back and Forth. So. So that's very slow. So 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. 3 and 4 and 1. Take advantage of what that was just you know, have kind of a smooth linear kind of a line, but have some leaps at the end.
That's really cool. I like the bends a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Shall I move on to the next one?
Do you want to play it?
Yeah, I'll play it with the track.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Nice. Love it.
It sounds great, John.
Thank you. Okay, second one. So this is called Matador because it's kind of Spanish sounding, maybe. Okay, so. So it's a little, this got a little bit more in terms of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay. Okay, then the second line. Okay, and towards the end of that, it's all about kind of syncopation.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
and. Okay.
Cool. D.
Okay. And then now, lick number 28, D Phrygian. Regatta, get out of this place. Sorry, dad joke. I'm sorry. This was towards the end of writing the course, and I was starting to run out of cool titles.
I think it's
So
cute.
I resorted to dad jokes. Okay, so this one goes with D Phrygian. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so one of the things with this one that I was kind of playing around with was that in the third and fourth measure, fourth measure, excuse me. There's a sequence of thirds. Okay, that's kind of nice, right? But it doesn't neatly fit into a specific scale. But all the notes are in that D Phrygian scale.
I was actually going to ask John, is that a way when you're practicing these scales that you practice them in thirds, fourths, fifths?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Also, not only that, but practice them. So if you're doing D Phrygian, a good way to do it is to, do it up and down the neck in a position for a little while. But then another way to do it might be to start with the D string. Right? And then do that on every string. Okay? Then maybe, right, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so like doing permutations like across the strings, up and down the strings, diagonally, string pairs, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Because when I'm improvising, I'm really rarely thinking of a specific pattern. I play and practice. I practice patterns when I'm practicing, but my reasons for doing that is because I want to get more and more intimately familiar with the fretboard.
Mm-hmm.
So the basic idea is practice all the stuff, practice, and then when you're improvising, just wipe the slate clean.
Forget about it.
Just forget about all of it and just try to play.
And those patterns are in there.
Yeah.
They're in your mind, in your heart, in your hands.
Julie, I was just going to ask, as you're practicing in these permutations, are you guys finding that you need to be more intimately familiar with the physicality of the patterns or with the sound of the scale? The sound?
Yeah,
Sound.
It's
Okay.
interesting how the sound dictates where your hands go. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Your mind thinks of it a split second before you play it. It's interesting. That's
Well, I
kinda
think you do
how
this.
I feel when
Oh,
I'm
go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay, yeah, I was just saying that's kind of how it works in real time when you're improvising. For me,
Mhm.
I think of it, and as close to being connected instantaneously with
Yeah.
the mind and the hands.
Yeah.
That's the hard.
That's a
thing.
beautiful thing. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. So this is D Phrygian.
1, 2,
Regatta.
Yeah. Shall I play that one again, or should we move on?
Let's go on. Let's go on to diagonal lines.
Okay, so diagonal lines. Okay, so.
That's cool. I like those arpeggio patterns.
Yeah, so this one that first line is actually a pickup into the phrase. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, one more time. 2, 3. 2, 3. 3, 4, 1. Okay.
Cool.
Let's see.
1.
1, 2, 3.
That's cool. And then finally Phrygian. Wow, John.
Yeah, I was
That's
getting
cool.
tired.
No, I love it.
That one looks like it hurts.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
hurts.
this one's interesting too.
Actually, this one, out of all the Phrygian licks, to me, this one falls on your fingers easier than other ones do.
Oh yeah, as I'm playing through that, I can notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So the okay, maybe a little overdrive.
Yes. Oh, I thought that one's my favorite one of the bunch. Very cool.
So
Nice.
go 2, 3, and. Oh, let me turn that up.
I love it.
Okay, let me try that again.
1.
Two, three, and. Okay.
Yay.
So again, it's the kind of thing, it sounds fast, but when you start working on it, you realize that it falls on your fingers pretty easily. I think, there's that second measure.
Can I ask you real quick?
Yep.
Is that down, up, or do you do down, down? Or is that a hammer on too?
I'm playing it as a hammer on. I didn't notate it that way.
Hmm.
That's right. Play the whole thing.
Okay. It's not that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so just so you know, she's sight reading right there. Sight
Nicely
reading.
done.
Never played the lick before. So,
You too can sight read.
yeah.
Not like that, I can't.
So, so that basically covers all the licks. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we close off for the night?
You guys rock.
Yeah.
You are here with us every time, and it makes it worthwhile for us.
Yeah. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming.
It's fun.
You know, my hope is that we're able to build it into something. Did I mention the guitar set, the guitar camp, the one-day guitar camp I'm going to do in September? Did I mention that to you guys yet?
I think you mentioned that a couple of classes ago, but
So,
worth another mention. What date is that in September?
so right now we're trying to do September 10, which is a Saturday.
Okay.
You know, so it's basically like an all-day, start at 9 o'clock, finish around 9 p.m. at night, something like that. You know, it's going to
Block
be...
out the rest of the world and focus on the guitar.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, the big difference is that it's going to be a maximum of 6 students in the room. So, you know, it's not going to be, you know, 30 people sitting in a room and just sort of listening to the person talk. So we'll exchange some of these things, but you know, be a lot more individual attention in terms of, you know, discussing some ideas, some approaches, some ways to organize the instrument, and then actually, you know, spend some time putting it into practice. Actually, you know, exploring some of the ideas, playing them, and then towards the end of the day, I'm going to have a rhythm section come in, and we're going to have some, you know, just do some deep dives in terms of jamming.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
So, you know, if any of you are interested, you know, please feel free to either reach out,
we'll keep talking about
Yeah.
it. We'll send out information.
Yeah, I don't want to, you know, like I don't want it to feel like I'm infomercialing, but you know,
We're excited.
Yeah, we're excited about doing it.
We love that everything can be in person again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely interested in doing it. Are you guys going to be the only instructors, or are there going to be other people?
It'll be just me and Julie.
Cool.
You know, so you know, but you know, a little bit later. So my daughter Ashley is going to come in and play bass later, and my son Steve is going to come in and play drums.
That's
And
awesome.
They're both monster players. They're actually those backing tracks that you're hearing.
them.
That's them.
So you mentioned that at, last time. I think you mentioned that, which surprised me actually.
Yeah. So they are no slouches.
Yeah,
They both
clearly.
have 2 degrees.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so let me see. So today we're at August 31st.
oh yeah, let's think about
Today we're at July 18th.
August.
Let's see. Let's get to August.
So August is
I think 15 is feels like a good.
is that the start of guitar sessions though?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Well,
the problem is
we
that
go till 4, right? And then will we be home?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we'll be home
that's
by
probably
7.
the best at this point because the next week we'll be traveling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do the 15th.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. So August 15th.
Sweet. And
Right, guys.
what mode will we be?
Huh?
working on? What mode?
Oh, so what we're gonna do? We'll put some materials up, but basically, you know, what we're gonna do is instead of working on a mode, what we're gonna do is look at chord progressions, and then just talk about some ways to, you know, look at the chord progressions and figure out, like, if you're faced with a chord progression, how to figure out what scales might work with the chord progression that you're given.
Yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah.
Perfect. That'll be huge, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you want to prepare something for Phrygian, we'd love to hear it.
Yes.
All the information is on the website.
Yeah. If you go to juliefinn.com and then click on John and Julie Guitar Workshop or Guitar Club.
Yeah, you probably received an email notification, and the links are in there too.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Any questions for us?
Nope.
All
All right.
right.
Well, that was cool. Today felt really good. I felt
Awesome.
like we were all kind of doing some nice things. All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yay.
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Later.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
There.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Yeah, you too.